Well, we just got done with one of the worst snowstorms I've ever lived through. But today the sun came out, it's beautiful, and we are here at Munson Medical Center in Traverse City, Michigan. It's just sitting right back there. And this is where I came some 6 months ago in an ambulance because I had a heart attack. And today, what I would like to talk about is what that experience was actually like. I feel like if we're going to have heart attack conversation, we should probably talk about what the actual heart attack was like and how it went. And oh my word, is it melty out here. So that Friday, I went for my lunchtime walk as I normally do. And during that walk, I felt some chest pains and I was about a mile away from work. I didn't think a lot of it. It hurt more than, a normal indigestion would, but I'm old. Indigestion happens. So I burped and walked and kind of fought through it and it kind of went away. But I'm pretty positive I probably had some sort of a minor episode there, which would later bite me in the butt. That night was my wife's birthday. We went out to Buffalo Wild Wings. Probably got cheese curds and some very spicy wings. I love a good hot wing. And that's the last fried food I've had. And man, do I miss fried food. Wow, fried food is so good. The deep fried stuff is verboten. Can't have deep fried food anymore. Friday nights we tend to stay up really late, which we did that night. I had popcorn with butter and salt. I miss buttered popcorn too. Oh, buttered popcorn, so good. So that night I went to bed thinking it was just going to be a normal Friday night. Went to bed at 3 o'clock in the morning and I felt fine, felt like everything was going okay. The next morning I woke up at around 7 o'clock in the morning and I was feeling pretty weird. I had this chest pain. I felt like there was like a pressure there. But again, I didn't think a lot of it. I'm like, well, it's going to pass. Sometimes I wake up in the middle of the night and I feel like a little sick or something and I lay back down and I go to sleep and it's all fine. In this case, that didn't happen. I laid back down and my chest continued to hurt more. And I tried some different positions and it just didn't feel right. So I'm like, you know what? I don't want to wake Kimmy up. I'm going to get up. I'm going to go and sit in my chair. I tried to get my sweatpants on and I just couldn't focus. I felt short of breath. I felt like I couldn't just think through what I needed to do. And that was when I knew I was in trouble. And so I woke my wife up and like, Kimmy, I don't feel good. I think you're going to have to take me to the emergency room. That kind of freaked her out. I don't think she quite got it. From there, I got up. I tried to walk and I collapsed. That's when I knew I was in real trouble. And I told her, I'm like, you need to call 911. I'm like, I think I'm having a heart attack. And again, she also went to bed at 3 o'clock in the morning. So she also wasn't like quite registering what was going on. And I think she thought I was overreacting because I do have a history of overreacting to stuff. But she called 911. And I remember at one point laying on the floor, like I told her, I'm like, I think I'm dying. And she's like, you're not dying. Because again, overreactor. And the boy who cried heart attack. We live in the middle of nowhere. We're probably, 45 minutes from this hospital. So when we called the ambulance, my thought was, well, this is going to be a long time. But they were there in, 10 minutes or something. It was fast. It was blindingly fast. They had me sit up and tested me. They put I don't know what they call the machine, but they put this thing in my chest and did the test and like, yep, you had a heart attack. So we're going to have to transfer you to Munson, which actually wasn't the closest hospital. There was a closer hospital, but they didn't have a cardiac ward. So yeah, they brought me here. I'm in the ambulance. I had my phone on me. And as they were closing the doors, Kimmy asked me, she's like, do you want me to bring anything? And I couldn't focus at the time, but once I was in the ambulance, I had a little more thought process, and I'm like, yeah, why don't you bring my bag with my tablet in it? Or I actually messaged that to her. From the ambulance, I messaged her to bring my bag with my tablet in it. I'm sitting in this ambulance, I'm on this ride, and, you know, they give me nitro, and he's talking to me to make sure that I'm still with him and all that. So I have some time to think. And I'm like, well, it starts to all come together. It's like, okay, I've had this heart attack. I've had a friend who had a heart attack. I kind of know what's about to happen here. They're going to bring me in, and I'm going to go into some kind of surgery. I mean, I didn't know what kind of surgery, but I knew I was going to have some surgery. They're going to put me out, and I don't know if I'll come to again. And so I got this ride to the hospital, and this might be my last thing that I ever write to my kids. So I wrote them a quick note, and that was really scary. That was when it was the most real for me. It was figuring out what to write my kids. Like, oh my God, this terrible thing has happened, and this could be it. As I'm going through this, I start to think about where I'm at and in life, and what this means to my kids and to my wife. And I didn't have a lot of fear for my wife at the time, as I was thinking about it, because Timmy's put together. She's so smart and keeps us running. She just has to figure out the financial end, and otherwise she'll be okay. She's just really a put together kind of person, kind of a Rock of Gibraltar type. So I wasn't that worried about her, but I was worried about my son. I have 4 kids, and my son is on the verge of being 26. And I was really worried about him, because I knew that if I died, that life, that the pressure to be the man of the house, to take care of everything, would be on him. And I did not want that for him. That's not something that he should have to worry about. And so I was really sad about that. Perhaps recording in the parking lot of a hospital, not the best idea. I wasn't worried about dying for myself. I'm a Christian, I'm a believer. I think I know where my security's at, so I wasn't that worried about if I were to die, what it would mean for me. But I was really sad and scared for what it meant for everybody else in my life. And so I was really hoping that I would survive it. One of the weird things about being in an ambulance is they have windows in the back, and so you can see the cars that are pulled over to the side waiting for you, and that was kind of a cool experience. It's like, you guys are waiting for me. All these times in my life that I had to pull over for an ambulance, and this time I'm the guy in the ambulance, and you guys got to wait for me. So that was kind of cool. So you get to the hospital, and largely the heart attack was over. I felt, they'd given me nitro in the ambulance, and I think that probably helped it subside. But I did feel this, kind of throbbing in my chest, like a bruise. Like I'd been playing tackle football, and somebody really stuck me hard in the chest. And I actually would have that feeling for a week. It stuck with me for a while. But you get to the hospital, and clearly they had called ahead. So they bring me into this cardiac emergency room thing. When I got there was 8 people. There's just all these people everywhere, and they're sticking things in my arms and taking blood pressure, and they asked me, I probably had 4 different people ask me my name, my date of birth, and where I lived. And I'm wondering if part of that was just making sure that I was still awake. I'm not sure, but there's just a lot of action going on. I think they realized that I was stable, so they put me in a waiting room, and they set me up to have a stent put in later on. And so I go to this waiting room. My wife comes there. Her sister met her at the hospital with her significant other. And the nurse comes in, and he's like, you're really only supposed to have 1 person in here, but you had a heart attack, I can break the rules for you. He's like, if you don't want anybody in here, I would understand. And I'm like, no, it's okay. And it was a very heartbreaking thing to to experience that, to explain to everybody what had happened. And I felt really sad, and I felt very much like I'd failed. Like I'd screwed up, and I had a heart attack, and now everybody was upset and sad because of something that had happened to me. I felt very guilty. It's a weird thing to say about having a heart attack. They got me in. I remember the room was incredibly cold. They were playing, I think they had Kansas playing. And then they're like, so normally we go in through the arm to the wrist. You know, sometimes if there's a problem, we have to go in through the groin. So we're going to have you shaved, which, like, in a day of uncomfortable things, this was not something I was stoked about, to be honest with you about it. They had this young nurse, this young lady come in to shave me. And normally I'd be like, well, this isn't happening. But, you know, you're in the hospital, you've had a heart attack. Like, I let it go, but it was not a very comfortable thing to experience. And I asked them, I'm like, you know, am I going to be completely out? And they're like, no, you'll be awake, but you just won't care. And I'm like, really? Because I am super tired because I didn't get any sleep last night. And they're like, no, you'll be awake. They were wrong. I was out almost immediately. I remember none of the surgery at all. The next thing I remember is them wheeling me out and seeing my wife. And I'm like, well, there's the world's most beautiful woman. And apparently the nurses like to hear what people say when they come out of surgery to see what kind of silly things they said. And like for the next few days, nurses kept telling that story of me like groggily saying, well, there's the world's most beautiful woman to my wife. And they thought that was very sweet. So that was kind of fun. I get out of surgery. The rest of it is pretty straightforward, but depressing stuff. The nurses that I had were mostly really nice. In fact, I don't think I've dealt with a medical person through this whole process these last 6 months who wasn't nice, who didn't treat me with respect. Hospitals are awful. Like, you're trying to sleep and people keep coming in and taking blood and checking on you. I did not enjoy that at all. I'm a person who likes to walk, and so I had to go through this 5 hours where they had me rest. But then after that, I got up and started walking the halls. And you could only go so far because they wanted to keep the heart monitors connected to a computer that the nurses are watching to make sure that something bad isn't happening. I had to stay on the floor, and I just kept walking back and forth. And, you know, I think that day I got, I don't know, 3,000 or 4,000 steps. It wasn't a lot, but it was some. But they were surprised that I was up and walking that fast after getting the stent put in. But after that first day, I really knocked down the steps. I was doing, you know, probably 12, 13,000 steps a day. And people kept asking me, are you sure you've had a heart attack? I'm like, pretty positive. I hope so. Otherwise, what am I doing here? So I went in on the Saturday. I got out on a Monday at Monday around noon, which is usually pretty fast for somebody with a stent. But I was showing good progress in that. So the last day, I'm hoping I'm going to get out because it was uncomfortable. I just wasn't sleeping that night. My last night in the hospital, the bed inflates and deflates to keep you from getting bed sores, and it deflated a lot that night and didn't come back up. And suddenly I was on the frame, and man, my back was so sore. And so that day, I'm I just want out of this hospital. I had IVs in both arms. Everything was sore, and I was tired. I didn't feel good. I just wanted to go home. And so they had a cardiologist come in and check me out. And then they wanted to do an ultrasound of my heart, make sure my heart was male, I guess. I don't know. Hey, look at there, it's a boy. They do the ultrasound, and I asked the person who did the ultrasound, I'm like, you know, does everything look okay? And she was like, well, I can't tell you. All I can tell you is that you definitely have a human heart, which I didn't know that not having a human heart was on the table. But there we go. But apparently everything checked out, and they gave me the okay. And so my wife was at a school thing for my kids, or for my daughter. And so she wasn't available to pick me up, so I had my sister-in-law pick me up. and she had a little snafu to come in to get me. And I was so nervous during this time, like it was like getting out of jail or something. Like they're gonna change their mind, they're gonna keep me. Hurry up, come and get me. But they did come and get me, and then I went to their house for a little bit till my son came and picked me up from there. And I showered there, and they have a shower with like endless hot water. And I was in that sucker for all of 45 minutes. Like I just stood there and let hot water pour over me because it felt good. And so, yeah, that was my experience with having a heart attack. So I think we'll next talk about recovery, what those first few days are like. You know, and recovery is still going on now. And it may be like an alcoholic thing, I don't know, or it's you're recovering the rest of your life. I hope not. But right now, that's what it kind of feels like. So thank you for listening to my story. Have a great day. Take care. Bye.